Good morning, I'm Meteorologist Chita Craft. So right now it's just about 10:10. So this is the latest update. We received our 10 o'clock update from the National Hurricane Center, and the next update will be around 1 o'clock this afternoon. But look at this image. I mean, the satellite image almost speaks for itself. We are dealing with an extremely strong Category 3 hurricane, almost a Cat 4 at this point, and we're expecting Laura to intensify to a Cat 4 status as early as the 1 o'clock update, maybe at 4 o'clock this afternoon. But sometime this afternoon, we will have a Cat 4 on our hands. Outer bands already starting to impact portions of Louisiana, and we are going to see some shower activity and a few thunderstorms today from Hurricane Laura. Now, when you look at this imagery, I want you to keep in mind a couple things. Models have stayed pretty steady overnight and into this morning, and this forecast track has really not changed a whole lot. Even in the past couple days, we've seen minor shifts west and east, but at this point, we're expecting a Cat 4 today and expecting it to make landfall along the Texas-Louisiana border between about midnight tonight to 2 a.m. Now, that time frame could change, and that's why it's extremely important throughout the day today to watch all of the updates throughout the day. When we gain information, of course, we're going to let you know. Also, right now, because this is Facebook Live. We are live, I think, on all of our digital platforms. Addison, he is standing by right now, and he is going to answer all of your questions. So if you have a question, a specific question, post it, write it, and we are going to get back to you today. We are going to do our very best to get as much information to everyone who needs it, anyone who needs it, throughout the day today and this evening. So landfall, let's talk about the timeline. Again, overnight landfall right along the Texas-Louisiana border. As far as the cone of uncertainty goes, you can see that we have been taken out of the cone of uncertainty, but the impacts are going to be felt well west and well east of the cone. I still want you to keep your guard up. The best idea you can have by 8 o'clock tonight, you need to be home and situated and prepared for where you're going to stay overnight into early tomorrow morning. Then about 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, let the sun come up, let us see what's going on, and we'll be able to reassess the situation, reevaluate it, and then we can let you know what's going on. But the thing about Laura is it's going to move really quickly. So notice 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, it is racing northward. By midday and early afternoon, and we're going to be talking probably towards Shreveport, and then it's going to quickly head east. The reason why, upper level winds going to drive this to our north and east. So we are not expecting this to sit and stall. This is not here locally, this is not going to be a rain event. If anything, we have to monitor the storm surge and the winds. When we talk about the winds, again, the impacts will be felt well west of the cone and well east of the cone as well. So even though we are not in that cone of uncertainty from the National Hurricane Center, we still need to keep our guard up, and we still need to take all the proper precautions. Okay, let me show you the winds. So 3 a.m. Overnight into early tomorrow morning. After landfall, notice we're looking at winds nearing that 100-mile-per-hour mark, and it may be higher than that. We're dealing with a Cat 4, either a strong Cat 3 upon landfall or a Cat 4 upon landfall. Again, right along the Texas-Louisiana border, or potentially just that most southwest portion of Louisiana. So when we talk about Galveston and the areas east of, we could easily still see winds up to 50 to 55-mile-per-hour winds, and that's why those warnings are still in effect. Now, the National Weather Service has just said throughout the day today, they're going to continue to watch the latest models in the track, and they're going to reevaluate this afternoon some of the warnings in place. So throughout the day, again, this is a day where it's going to continue to evolve, even though we have a pretty good handle on where it's expected to make landfall. But as far as these exact warnings and the storm surge expected, you need to make sure you're listening to the latest forecasts here. Okay, let's continue throughout the morning tomorrow, 5:30. Take a look. Winds continuing nearing that 100-mile-per-hour mark in Lake Charles, plus or minus there, and that continues to move northward. Again, holding, though, either a strong Cat 1 hurricane or potentially Cat 2, even after potentially making landfall, and tropical storm force winds continue well even in northern Louisiana and past. So we're still going to be tracking this for a while tomorrow, even though it's expected to move pretty quickly. This afternoon, expecting, again, at that Cat 4 status to as early as 1 o'clock, potentially maybe 4 o'clock this afternoon. Notice the center of circulation nearing 7 o'clock, that Texas-Louisiana border, and then by midnight tonight into about 2 a.m., that's when landfall should occur. So as far as our local impacts go, between about 3 to 6 feet, I think from Galveston Bay east of, starting to get a little bit higher once you get closer to Chambers County and closer to the border there where it's expected to make landfall. But the severe impacts are going to be where it makes landfall and east of. So that'll be bracing towards Louisiana and most of the coast for Louisiana. This is an incredible situation where we're going to have a Category 4 hurricane so close, and some of you may just have minimal impacts, if that, especially areas west of 45. Again, throughout the day, you have to really keep a close eye out on this. Any updates that we get, of course, we will pass on to you, and it's important that you listen to all of those updates as well, and our local officials as well. Let me take you through our overnight hours. 1:30. Here's Sabine Pass. Here's Port Arthur. Take a look at the landfall expected, again, between that midnight and 2 a.m. hour. Once it makes landfall, it races northward. Here's noon tomorrow, and now most of it's sitting in Shreveport, still as a strong tropical storm or a Cat 1 hurricane. Then it continues in that northerly track, hangs east, and it's pretty much out of here by Thursday afternoon and early evening. So we have to keep our guard up today. Remember, get all of your preparations in place in case you would lose power, in case just any little shifts or wiggles there right before landfall can occur. But at this point, most models all pointing towards that Texas-Louisiana border. Live look at the radar, well-defined eye, you can see all the wraparound moisture, all the wraparound winds already from those outermost rain bands of Laura. And we have seen a few on and off showers this morning, so about a 30% chance probably over the next couple of hours, increasing that to about a 50% chance today of these on and off showers to a few developing thunderstorms by late afternoon, early evening. And then that kind of will continue to keep going overnight into early tomorrow morning. So the moisture that we pick up today, the rain that we pick up, that is from Laura. That is some deep tropical moisture moving across the area. Live look outside in Galveston, already breezy. Winds have started to pick up. So have elevated seas already, and we will notice that here continuing throughout the day as well. As far as storm surge goes, again, still expecting between about 3 to 6 feet. If the track shifts at all, we're talking plus or minus 10 miles, so will that. And that will dramatically change some of the impacts here. So on our 7-day forecast, I mean, the time frame is overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. By 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, this is pretty much out. We could still see some wraparound moisture from Laura, so we'll still keep a rain chance in place. But then as we head into Friday and through the weekend, we're just talking about a daily rain chance in the afternoon. I'll get back to that latest track. If some of you are just joining me, I know this forecast has been tricky. I know the anxiety this week has just been so much. It's been so difficult to forecast this and pinpoint exactly where this is expected to make landfall as models shift here and there. Where the interaction with dry air, what was left over from a Marco, some cooling waters, all of this really plays a factor on where this is traveling. But at this point, again, it's 10:17, almost 10:18 this morning. Models are pretty consistent. We've seen consistency in the landfall forecast track, even from the National Hurricane Center, that we are expecting an overnight landfall, midnight to about 2 a.m., as either a really strong Cat 3 or a Category 4 hurricane. Here's that well-defined eye. And as this continues to approach the coastline, it gains strength. Here's a Cat 4, and this could happen as early as about 1 o'clock this afternoon or potentially maybe 4 o'clock. So sometime this afternoon, expecting this to be a Cat 4, and then potentially making landfall either as a Cat 4 or a really strong Cat 3 right along the Texas-Louisiana border. So we will continue to update you if anything changes as we gain any new information. Of course, we are going to jump on live on our social media pages. Our chief meteorologist will be in really shortly, and he is going to be here until it makes landfall. So all of our updates to come through the afternoon and evening, and if anything changes, of course, we will let you know right here.